up in Wilkinsburg. It's 30 minutes away from my college. The community, I'd say, is basically like, it's underprivileged. We have community areas and stuff, but we don't have a lot for the youth to do, basically. I grew up with my mom and dad, have an older brother, but he lives in Texas. He's like 20 years older than me. So like we're not that close. So I consider myself only child, basically. I grew up in a basic like majority race school. Like we had a few different races, but it was majority of African Americans.
I remember meeting you at a life gathering, like one of our fellowship groups, but my guess is that I met you on freshman orientation day. We get to meet students, and when we tell them who we are and what we do, you can tell if a student's interested or not, and they'll write down their contact info. So we end up getting a lot of students' contact info, so I'm sure you gave us your email, and then she started coming on Tuesday nights. She's one of our student leaders on campus, which means that she is part of helping to plan and execute our different life gatherings and our post-COVID world. There's just like constant troubleshooting that has to happen in terms of like what can we do, what can't we do in the midst of the limitations we have. How can we be creative? So our student leader team has been super valuable in helping to problem solve, because they're on the ground. They're more familiar with what's happening on campus. What would students even be interested in? Since students are sick of being on the screen and on Zoom, like what other ways can we interact with students? Juliana is my CCO coworker at Roche. Annette had told her that she was going to be withdrawing for the semester and then moving out that weekend. So that weekend was like 4 or 5 days away.
I didn't have enough money. Well, I still have leftover money in my balance for this semester. I knew about it since before this semester. Like I tried figuring out different ways, but I just couldn't figure out anything really.
I was hopeful that you would be open to exploring whether there might be a way to pay the rest of the tuition.
It takes me a bit of time to actually take help from other people, from like growing up and stuff like that. It was, I want to say the Wednesday before the weekend, I was planning on leaving. And then I went into my church's the usual youth group we have on Wednesday nights. And we had a talk. We talked about my feelings. I cried a bit. And they convinced me to wait out and see the different options, basically.
Once Annette said that she was open to seeing if there were scholarships available or ways that she might be able to find some financial aid. I mean, it was probably that same day I talked to Kathy and kind of shared the situation and tried to get a sense of whether we might be able to provide funds towards basically a scholarship for Annette.
When it's like within that next week, the church was able to put up 1,000, and then someone who attended the church, I don't know who exactly, but they also put in 1,000. So then that left in within my balance only like 600 something that I had to cover basically. I felt like a weight off my shoulders with trying to cover all that balance.
At life, and even like with our student leaders over the last year, one of the common themes has been trust God. Like what does it look like to actually put our trust and our faith in God? And oftentimes that looks like taking a risk, knowing that God is a God who provides abundantly. And so in this situation, I was thinking about that and was like, this is an opportunity to kind of step out a little bit in faith and see what God does. And thankfully in this situation he showed up and really provided.